Fun, big battery, a great value phone, right? The Honor Win RT Teardown is here. A phone over 2000 with a fun and waterproof. Watch the Teardown video and you'll know why.
The later, more ahead.
Honor Win RT just launched today. I bought the 16 256GB black version for $2,900. The hype for Win RT these days is at least 9.1 times more than for the Xiaomi 17 Ultra. I truly didn't expect that. Buying this phone also gets you a free game console, and honestly, this transparent Explorer Edition's design feels even cooler than the phone itself, packed with over 10,000 games. Now back to the phone itself. The main difference between this Win RT and the other Win version is that it lacks a camera, and the processor is now the Snapdragon 8 Gen 1. This strategy for gamers is practically cutting to the bone. Who cares about no camera when you're gaming? So let's power it on first. The appearance of this Honor Win RT, it truly looks very familiar. Take out Redmi's K90 Pro Max for comparison. These two are practically brothers from different parents. Let's take a quick look at some of the highlight features of the Win RT. First up is newly integrated fan. We'll compare it briefly with the Red Magic 11 Pro Plus, which is the benchmark in fan-equipped smartphones. For the fan's airflow, you can directly observe this real-time visual comparison. This here is Honor's Win RT, and now let's watch the slow motion. Its air enters through this circle, then exits from the vent below the camera module. Notice it has a slot opened right below the vent, so when you're holding the phone, it can also blow air onto your hand, and honestly, it feels quite refreshing. Now let's take a look at the Red Magic 11 Pro Plus. Its air duct goes from the right side in and the left side out. The airflow is also very powerful. So, after seeing this visual comparison, you'll have a rough idea of the airflow on both sides. Next, let's compare their noise levels, both turned up to maximum. First, the Red Magic. The motor hum. Then with Win RT, its fan speed is surprisingly continuously adjustable. That's quite interesting. Let's hear the noise at its highest speed. Motor whirring. Now it's quite clear that the Win RT's fan noise is significantly louder than the Red Magic's. I wonder if when you're playing games, hearing the fan makes you feel more in the zone, or if you find it distracting. Let us know in the comments. So, how did Win RT design these multiple phone fans to be waterproof? We'll analyze that later when we disassemble it. Secondly, its screen refresh rate this time reached an astonishing 185 Hz. After our previous teardowns, the highest we'd seen was probably 165 Hz on ROG and Red Magic phones. The Honor Win RT also has another excellent feature. Its high refresh rate applications all come with custom switches. Let's compare it with a standard 120 Hz phone, and if we watch it in slow motion, the difference is quite clear. You should all be able to see it, right? What's also quite impressive is the Win RT's battery, reaching 10,000 mAh. You guys might not grasp that concept. I don't have a 10K mAh one, but I've got a slightly bigger 12K mAh power bank. Look, this power bank is already phone-sized and much thicker. This really shows Honor's battery tech is incredibly strong now. So, how exactly did it fit a 10,000 mAh battery, and how did they make the fan waterproof? Well, without further ado, let's quickly start tearing it down. The adhesive around the back cover of this phone is quite easy to open, but once it reaches the camera module's position, you can feel it's noticeably very stiff. Just look at what it did to my prying tool. I feel this situation is no longer just about structural adhesive. The feeling of prying it out reminds me of when we disassembled that North Korean phone. Is it possible this lens mount, like North Korean phones, has screws? Let's try it out. Hey, look, this mount actually seems like it can be pried open. Well, before I took it apart, I thought this was glass, but it turns out the port cover is plastic. Oh, thankfully, plastic won't break easily when pried. Yay! Sure enough, there really was a screw in there. Phew, good thing we're experienced in disassembling devices. Now that we've taken this part apart, we can actually see its airflow design. The air enters through these tiny fan blades, and then through these guide vanes, it directs the air to this outlet below. We'll then use a smoke machine to demonstrate the airflow path. Alright, once this screw has been removed, you'll be able to easily take off the back cover. And wow, this back cover is truly incredibly thin and light, guys. You can absolutely tell just by listening to the sound. Making it this thin is likely to reduce the device's weight. Accordingly, the back cover has a lot of cushioning foam, which prevents internal components from impact during drops. At first glance, this phone's internal structure is truly unique. Let's first remove the cooling fan module. After tearing off this waterproof adhesive, you can see the small fan's power cable passes through this gap into the body, then connects to the motherboard via these contacts. So let's go ahead and take this fan down from here. Now you can all see Honor essentially placed this fan outside the device body, so there's absolutely no need to worry about waterproofing. The air blown by this external fan passing through a metal plate can also expel the heat generated by the motherboard out through this vent. Honestly, this is a genius design. Okay, now let's remove the motherboard cover, and you can see the thermal film on the cover completely blankets the entire battery area. Very thoughtful. On the flip is the motherboard cover. It integrates on a single-tone flash, an ambient light sensor, and an infrared emitter, and an NFC coil, and below it, a double-layer graphene heatsink. At this level, not having wireless charging is quite normal. Let's continue to look at the internal structure of this phone, from 1 to 91 points. Or what score would you give it? First, I must commend the flat ribbon style coaxial cable on the right. This design avoids cutting a slot in the midframe, which would otherwise affect its strength. So let's begin by taking out the rear camera module. The main camera uses a 1.56-inch IMX906 sensor, which is a common main camera for the 3,000 yuan price range. Then there's a portrait wow, round 12 megapixel front and a 50 megapixel ultra wide on the camera setup compared to the Honor Win version lacks a triple zoom IMX856 telephoto, but those buying the Honor Win RT probably won't care about this camera setup. Some might even think an extra camera here would affect heat dissipation. Okay, now let's take out this motherboard. You can see there are no VC liquid cooling slots beneath the motherboard, indicating Honor is very confident in its air cooling strength. Looking at the motherboard's overall structure, even with the battery occupying such a large internal space, its motherboard surprisingly remains a single layer design, greatly aiding heat dissipation. Then the shielding cover on the motherboard's front has this grid-like pattern. Is it possible they've put the VC liquid cooling on the front side? Let's go ahead and pry it open to take a look. After prying it open, the front isn't actually VC liquid cooling. It uses the concave part of this shielding cover to directly contact the thermal paste inside, thereby dissipating heat for the internal components. Then prying open the back shielding cover, you can directly see that this processor is the green Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 below it. Above it is a Micron LPDDR5X RAM, and to its right is a Hynix flash memory. From this comparison, it's clear that the SoC, a major heat generator, is positioned right at the air duct. Its heat can be directly blown away by the air from the duct for active cooling. For current games on the market, the Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 is already more than sufficient. If you add active cooling to it, you won't have to worry about gaming at all. Next, let's look at one of this time's key features, this massive top speaker. It appears to use the same slanted top-mounted speaker design as its big brother, Huawei. Does anyone know why it's placed at an angle? And the supplier for this top speaker is Goratech Acoustics. The size is 12/16, which is truly impressive. All the phones we've disassembled this year in the same class are basically 10/12. That's the entry level. The bottom speaker is also removed. Turning it over, you can see the top and bottom speakers are exactly the same in spec, both using the 10/12 specification. The last time we heard a phone with dual 12/16 speakers was the god of music Xiaomi 10s. What's more, Honor is now using even newer speaker technology. No point in talking more, let's just directly compare the sound quality first. Let's take out this year's top speaker phone, the Redmi K90 Pro Max, and then my Canon photo phone, the Find X8 Ultra, as a control group. Okay, so after listening, who do you think has better sound quality? Is it the Redmi K90 Pro Max with both triple speakers, or the Honor Win RT with dual 1216? Now let's remove this tail plug small board. As for transfer speed, Win RT uses a USB 2.0 rate. But I guess gamers don't really need to transfer large files, do they? I mean, who transfers movies to their phone these days? The motor, once removed, is a standard EO809 X-axis linear motor. Its thickness is a normal 3.5mm, not the thicker EO809E from the Xiaomi 10T Ultra. Now let's take this battery out. Its battery doesn't feature a quick release design, which is quite unexpected. Not only is there no quick release design, but the battery adhesive is really tight, guys. If you're disassembling it yourself, be very careful. Don't use too much force around the battery or you could easily damage the mid-frame. Okay, so once the battery is removed, you can see it's an astonishing 10,000 mAh battery, directly ushering phone batteries into the power bank era. The manufacturer is Fujian Scud Electronic Commerce Ltd. Overall, the battery uses a single cell with a dual interface design, offering a longer lifespan and faster charging speed. So, we measured this cell's size, 99mm long, 69mm wide, and 6.13mm thick. So guys, if you're thinking of modding an old device with a new battery cell, you can use this data as a reference. This battery pack is probably the largest one we've taken apart recently. And then let's look at the VC liquid cooling area under the battery. It's quite substantial. Paired with air cooling, playing Genshin Impact or Honkai Star Rail will be a breeze. Okay, so this is the complete internal overview of the Honor Win RT. Now let's put this phone back together. The Honor Win RT specs are simply mind-blowing. For its price point this year, the Honor Win RT once released absolutely crushed it. So, if you guys are looking for the 16 plus 5 and 12 large memory version, but your budget's a bit tight, I think you could also consider the Red Magic 10 Pro Plus. It also features the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3, comes with a fan, and has the same 16 plus 5 12 gigabytes of memory. I checked, and the current second-hand price for a certified one is only around 2,830 yuan, which is 500 yuan cheaper than a Win RT with the same memory. Plus, all certified phones undergo multiple rounds of official quality checks, so their quality is guaranteed. Well, I think this restoration is fine. This transparent Explorer edition revealing the air duct structure, I think it's even cooler than the original.